Hey guys, just wanted to make a quick video, play around with Xactimate a little bit, just to show you some of the key line items that you'll be creating, some that are kind of easy to overlook or not really think about whenever you're first doing it. So we'll just go over a few. Here on the right, you'll see that I just kind of jotted some down so we could have over here to look at. And then here on the left, I'm going to show you just where to find them and how to look them up. So let's say we're going into a house. Let's add a roof to this. So we have our roof here. So in our category, it's going to be under roofing. And then just some of the typical roof line items that you're going to find is one, you're going to look and see if the roof has 3-tab shingles or architectural shingles, which would be a picture. Let's see, let's make this bigger. So yeah, so that's going to be the architectural shingles. So that's one thing that you're going to add. When you add that, you'll want to put the squares in. So let's just say it's 30 squares. It automatically pops up 2 because one is going to be for tear off and then one is going to be for install. One thing to keep in mind with tear off, you have to put the exact amount. So to say, I think this is tear off. Yeah. So whenever it's tear off, you have to put the exact squares that you are tearing off. But with install, you can put at 10 to 15% depending on the size for for leftovers. And so we're just going to put 34 squares there for that. So let's go back over here. So then we're going to go back to roofing. Another line item is going to be, so we did our felt, as you can see over here. This says with felt. You can either do with or without felt. If you do without felt, then you're going to want to add the felt on. So we have our shingles. Drip edge is something that we'll add. I'll show you a picture of what drip edge is in case you've never seen it. So drip edge is this these items that go around the roof. So to find out how many linear feet of drip edge you need, you're just going to find out the linear feet of the roof. And so you can do that by whenever you get your Eagle View or whatever item you're using to measure your roofs, it's going to give you that information. So on our drip edge, let's just say it's 200 linear feet. So next, so now we have shingles, we have felt, we have drip edge. We can go ahead and add dumpster. So dumpster is actually going to be under general demolition. We're just going to go with a 30-yard dumpster. That's typical for one roof. So we'll do a 30-yard dumpster. Then here, so ridge cap. Yeah, you can cut the ridge with shingles, but they allow us to buy actual ridge caps, so we're going to charge them for it. And so again, on your Eagle View, it's going to tell you the linear feet of your ridge. So it's going to be your ridge and your hips included. So because your hips are going to have ridge cap as well. So you go to your roofing, ridge cap. It's going to be the composite shingles here. And again, if you're not sure on some things, you click on it. Um, and then you can look at the details. So there. Let's just say we have 30 feet of ridge. So then valley metal. So there's going to be valley flashing for each of the valleys. And again, this is just going to be the length of whatever the valleys are. So your report will tell you how many linear feet of valleys you have. So we're just gonna say that we have 40. And just to show you a picture of valley metal, it looks like this. Starter shingles. So we're allowed to add starter shingles. I think the old school or maybe even normal way is just to take a 3-tab shingle, turn it upside down, and use that for a starter shingle, but they actually have a shingle specifically for that, so we're going to charge them for it. And so just go with the universal starter shingle. Again, if you want to see what that looks like this. Pipe jacks. So anytime we have a dent or ding in any of our pipe jacks, we'll replace them. So you have your 6-inch pipe jacks and your 8-inch pipe jacks. You'll know whatever size it is once you look at it. Again, we'll take a look at the description so you can see what they look like. So this is a pipe jack. That's the larger one. Let me show you a different pipe jack as well. Or not larger, but it's just, so this lead pipe jack is a pretty, that's a pretty common pipe jack there. And then you also have copper pipe jacks, which look like this. That's pretty rare. Copper's expensive. Okay. And then flashing. So next would be like chimney flashing, which is just going to be, you measure your chimney, see what size it is. So you have a small chimney. It's going to look like this. The flashing is this metal that goes around the chimney. So these are just some things that we're going to add on roofing. I have all that here. One thing I do not have on here. So you can add, you can charge extra for 2 stories, and you can charge extra for steepness. So here, if the roof is between a 7 or a 9, you can charge an extra 35 cents a square foot, or really that's $63 a square. We'll stick with squares because we already started with that. If it's 10 to 12, then it's extra $100 a square. If it's a 12, well, it's 126. So, I mean, that adds up. You got to think if it is a 30 square roof for steepness, that's an extra 1,600 here, 600 there. That's just for the tear off, that's for the install. And again here, you can make that 34 just for the extra. And then, so height charges. What is it under? I'm glad I can't remember, because this will help you see just to kind of, what you have to do whenever you're trying to figure out what the actual wording is. Just put in, so steep, or it just says high. Okay, so high roof. So for 2 stories or greater, it's going to be an extra $27 a square foot. So those are the basic roof line items that you're going to come across. I'm sure there's some other ones that I'm just not thinking about, but those are going to be your normal ones that you will put down for most roofs. So let's go ahead and delete all this. All right, so interior installs. So this one's pretty self-explanatory. If you're going to add flooring, so just floor covering is going to be the category. You have carpet, you have ceramic tile, you have vinyl, you have wood. So let's say you're going to do a wood. Now wood would be, it's going to be like a prefab wood, it's going to be hardwood, it's going to be engineered wood, so it'll be all of them. And then you can go through, and I mean there's tons of choices for whether it's oak or whether it's whatever, maple or whatnot. So let's just say we're doing an engineered wood. You also want to put in the grade of this wood, because this is going to depend on what price they charge. And so you have your standard is going to be your lowest grade, and it's going to go from standard to just, I guess this doesn't have a grade, just standard to just engineered wood flooring. Then it's going to go from that to high grade, and then from high grade to premium grade. As far as I know, again, I'm not an expert on Xactimate, but these are the 4 grades that I'm used to seeing: standard, non-grade, I guess, and then high grade, and then premium. And so this is really kind of a subjective decision. Most of the time, as long as you're not trying to say, a $2 square foot flooring is a premium grade, then they'll go with what you say. I have had people want us to turn in an ITIL report to prove what grade something is. Sometimes that is the case. It just depends on the insurance company. But what I typically like to do is, I will, if I'm going to assume something, obviously I want to assume higher, but I'm going to assume maybe 1 grade higher than what it actually could be. I'm not just going to try to overshoot it. So, and if you're ever not sure exactly what this includes, you can go to the details. Wanted to show you a picture to kind of make sure that the material you're getting is pretty close to what the picture is. 2, this is going to tell you everything that it includes. The nails, the labor, the cost for removing it, this and that. And so each item will give you that information. Where we're at. So same thing with tile or backsplash. So if it's going to be a backsplash, then your tile is an actual category by itself. So you have floor covering, ceramic tile, and then you just have tile. This tile is going to be for backsplash, for showers, for fireplaces, things like that. So again, I would just type in backsplash here. You see that it's $9 a square foot. Or you can do shower, and it's going to ask you the square footage of the shower. And then you can play through here, but there's tons of other information in there as well. Baseboards, pretty common. So anytime you're installing floors, unless it's carpet, it's pretty normal to remove the baseboards and install new baseboards. I have came across some. I'm actually dealing with an insurance company right now who wants us to remove and reinstall the same baseboards. I just don't see that happening. Usually, baseboards aren't installed to be removed and then put back. Once they're installed, they're usually going to have to stay installed because you're going to mess them up pulling them off. Not always, it's possible, but if you're doing a whole house, chances are one of those baseboards are going to break. So I always try to push back on that. So baseboard is going to be under trim. So finished carpenter and trim work. Maybe it's just, I think it just says, okay. So you'll want to make sure you're getting the right inch of the baseboard, the right type of baseboard, whether, hardwood. If it has shoe mold, you want to add that in. These are things to just look for. So this is a pretty common baseboard here. Again, if you're not sure, go look at the details of it. And then something that always will go along with baseboards is you have to paint them. So that installing the baseboard does not include the paint. So we're going to paint. And you have paint baseboards. Most insurance companies will only pay for one coat. In reality, when you're painting new baseboards or even new walls, it typically takes 2 coats, but I get a lot of pushback with that, so I don't fight them too much on it. I just charge them for 1 coat. So paint baseboards 1 coat, and you're just going to put in however many linear feet of baseboard you have. While we're talking about painting, I don't have it over here on the paper, but while we're talking about it, when you're painting a wall or ceiling or whatever you're painting, you have to prep to paint as well. So you can also charge to mask and prep for the linear feet of the room. And so make sure you're always charging them to prep before you paint. Same thing with drywall. So drywall is going to be under its own category. You're going to want to add in, so 1/2 inch is a typical size for drywall that you're going to be installed. If you're doing commercial or if you're doing some really high-end houses will have 5/8. Some houses will have 5/8 on the exterior walls and 1/2 inch on the interior walls. But a good rule of thumb is you're typically just have 1/2 inch drywall. And so also keep in mind if you're going to be doing texture or if it's flat. So this will include hanging 1/2 inch drywall, tape, and ready for texture. So this isn't charging for texture, this is getting it ready to texture. I like to choose the ones that just kind of bundle it all up. So this is hang taped, heavy texture, ready to paint, which is what I usually go with. So you're going to install, whatever square footage that might be. And so now that it's hung, taped, textured, and ready to paint, then we're going to go in. We're going to go to paint. Now we're going to add paint 1 coat. The abbreviation should be just P, actually. Yeah, here, so paint 1 coat. When you're painting, so this W stands for walls, the C stands for ceiling. And so you need to decide if you're painting the walls and the ceiling or just the walls. The way you decide that is, are they the same color? So if it's continuous, well, they have to pay for the walls and the ceiling because it's really tough to paint match something to make it match exactly how the old paint was. And so if something is matching, well, then we're just going to repaint everything, the walls and the ceiling. But if the ceiling is like a flat white and the walls are a different color, well, then we'll just do walls. And again, that will determine whatever the square footage will be. Over here, so these are a few like detach and reset items that whenever I first started playing around, it's just things that I just didn't really consider or look into. So for instance, if you are installing some new tile floor in a bathroom and you have to take out this tile floor, well, you have to take that toilet out as well. Now you're going to put the same toilet back in, but that costs money. So you go to plumbing. I think we did this in the last video, but you just do right here, detach and reset. So also refrigerators. I think that's under appliances. Yeah, so it'll be under appliances, and I just like to put like one of the keywords, and this goes through. So if you're redoing a kitchen, well then you'll have to detach, reset the stove top, the downdraft vent if they have one, dishwashers, garbage disposals, the range, microwaves if they have one, whatever they have, you're just going to go through and make a list because I mean they pay pretty decent money to detach and reset this. You're looking at an extra $1,000 in a kitchen just for that. And don't think that those subcontractors aren't going to charge you, because they are. And so, really, when it's all said and done, it ends up being about $300 for one. Same thing with fans and lights. That should be under light fixtures. Some of these things you would think, like, for instance, I would think that would be under electrical. But what I think it's actually under is light fixtures. And so keep in mind, some of these you'll be detaching and resetting, and then some of these you'll just be replacing altogether. So it just depends on the condition of that item. So light fixtures, to detach and reset, you're looking at $50 a piece. If they're bigger, then you're looking at close to $100. So if you're not sure if the one that you have is large or a regular size, it'll show you. So this will be your regular size. Where are we at? This, well, that looks like the same size to me, but you get the idea. So contents, let's go over that. Whenever you are about to do a remodel on a house or doing any sort of interior work, let's delete this. Well, it's going to have items in that house. You have to remove those items, and we have to charge for everything we do because people are going to charge us for everything. And so, I'm just adding this because this is someone's actual estimate. So you have a few different ways to do that. You get a content manipulation, and then you can look at the size of the room. You can do a move out and reset. So small room, I guess a small room, it should tell you, and it doesn't. I guess a small room is subjective. So if you think the room is large, I don't think any house has a small room. I think they're all medium and larges. But for each room, you'll add this because that's an extra, $120 to move the stuff out and move it back in. On top of that, if you are boxing things up, so usually we'll ask the homeowner to pack their little things and to move their little things, and we'll come in and get the big things. If they do that, well, then we will do content manipulation. We'll move the room out in that way. But if for some reason it's our job, and it has been before, especially with these hurricanes, to just get everything out of the house, well, then we have to charge for that. And so the packing and the handling and the storage, these are all things that we're going to charge for. We're going to charge for the boxes. So this here is, so provide box, paper, packing, and tape, small, medium, and largest. So we're going to charge for each of those boxes. Or small, medium, large, and extra large. And this is just for the price of the box. So you'll add that, but then you'll also go in and you'll have to add the actual packing and the inventory of these boxes. So you'll add the cost of the box plus the evaluate, pack, and inventory for a small box, evaluate, pack, and inventory for medium boxes, and so on and so forth. And you'll just add per box. I mean, you see, it adds up. If you think, a lot of these houses, when you're packing, they'll have, 60 of these medium or large boxes, and that adds up, literally to $7,000. We've charged people, in excess of $20,000 just to pack their stuff up and move it out. But I mean, if they're not going to do it, then we have to do it. So again, we have all this over here. Moving pods is another thing. So just to show you, you can put it, it's not going to be under pod, I believe this will be under storage. Yeah. So you have, a few different types. You'll have the on-site containers, or you'll have just a storage facility rental. So this will be off-site for the monthly rental, and it pays $1 a square foot. Unless you're paying for something that is more than if you just show them the receipt that, hey, this is what they charge us, then they'll pay for the full thing. And these are for if you're going to be dropping one, like a pod in their driveway, which is what I really love to do. And then we just load everything up in there, lock it up, and then we pull it back out. So anyways, I know this video is getting long, but I just wanted to go over those few things with you. There's a ton more. I'll email everybody this just to kind of get you started. But there's a lot more information to go over as well whenever you're doing those Xactimates. But those are kind of the basics and just to get you started.